Tonight is a super special happy night for me. Tonight I'm interviewing one of my lifelong, all-time heroes, Mr. Jim Abernethy. Jim is a world-famous shark conservationist, scuba diver, photographer, author, Emmy winner, and all-around great human being. He founded the nonprofit WildlifeVOICE and runs wonderful underwater expeditions at Jim Abernethy's Scuba Adventures. You can see him currently on the Netflix documentary Tales by Light on the Misunderstood Predators Part 2. Most importantly, he's the real deal. He really loves these majestic beasts, and he has a bond with them that no one else does. He has dedicated his life to the conservation of sharks and other animals, and he does it with a passion that will inspire you to get off your butt and do the same. I love this guy, and I've never been more excited to do an interview on this show than I am right now. You are listening to the Podcastle. I'm Clark the Shark. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jim Abernethy. Right?
No, that picture was taken by one of my best friends, Anand. He's a doctor down in Miami that's a regular on all my trips.
Anand, was he in the Tales by Light episode?
No, that's Eric Chang.
Eric Chang was in there, yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I watched it twice last night, Jim, and twice it gave me, I had a lot of itches in my eyes, if you catch my drift.
Yeah,
my eyes got really itchy.
So you're not gonna actually say that it
I did.
brought happy tears.
I brought happy tears. I was crying like a schoolgirl. I said to my wife, I said, come out here. And it was like 22 minutes in, and it's the montage where you're in the water and it's you, Eric, and you have your crew, and you're talking about how the sharks are the lifeblood of the world, and you're petting the tiger shark in the nose. And I think Eric was holding a nurse shark, and there was this beautiful music playing, and then they cut to you, and you had happy tears, and then I was full waterworks at that point.
That was it. Yeah, at that point, that's it. That was such a tremendous time for me because first of all, Eric Chang is definitely one of my best friends for a multitude of reasons. He's the kind of guy that you want as a friend. To know him is to love him, and to have him on board, he's got a huge following, although he doesn't work it. And he's just so incredibly, he's the most gifted raw talent photographer I know. And to have him on board, his mission is, as you know, from watching Tales by Light, is to show the world that the world's most dangerous underwater creatures aren't dangerous at all. So he swam with the orca. He swam with the world's largest snake, the green anaconda. And then the third part was to go with me and with the sharks. And I had told him before he got there that things have really changed because, it isn't always like that. There's been a progression. Why
is the progression? Is it because of the media, do you think? Because I know they're not dangerous.
No. I mean, the progression at Tiger Beach and what's happening underneath my boat. Okay, so let me basically try to describe it to you. And it was in the late 90s that I was learning the real bad details of how many sharks were dying. And I have been swimming with large predatory sharks, never with a cage, all my life. And I thought, I need to get serious about shark conservation. I need to move from land. And I found a live aboard dive boat and I bought it on a whim. Just please let there be other people that are really crazy about sharks that might want to do exactly what I want to do. So I did this, and well, thank God there were. And immediately, I was like a hidden secret. Everybody was telling all the professionals. There's a guy that swims. Like actually, this in a couple of days.
When was this? Give us a time frame, because you're not a little secret anymore.
December, 1997 December. I bought the Shearwater, the live aboard that I still own. It's a small 12 passenger, 4 or 5 crew a commercial boat. It's not luxurious. But I don't really care about luxurious because
No.
they'll be lucky if they do what I want them to do. They'll be lucky if they make it to their bunk because they're going to be so exhausted. So basically what I do, I like the way Eric Chang says it. He said once that I redefine eccentric, and that is so true.
That is so true.
I don't do anything half-assed. If I get involved in it, I get way over involved.
Yeah.
And with sharks, I basically was the pathfinder with, I'm the first person to start large predatory encounters cageless. And I received a gauntlet of arrows, mostly from people that later in their life would try to replicate what I'm doing. But in the beginning, everybody thought I was going to kill people because they all thought that sharks were dangerous. But I grew up with them. I knew they weren't dangerous, but I had no idea.
And for you to be, because you're a pioneer in what you did, and just being able to talk to you was like one of the high moments of my life. For all the people that you've touched and the pioneering that you've did with sharks, to let people know, you're trying to build an army to protect these beasts. You're still a very approachable guy, and when you do your tours and things like that, I feel like you're pretty accessible, and that's what you're trying to do, right? You want to be out there to inspire people.
I am very accessible. In fact, that's one of the things that I fight. We didn't actually finish that earlier topic of the change, but we can come back to it. But
please.
One of the things that I fight is that a lot of these shark dive operators, especially ones that feed sharks, it becomes a show about the guy feeding the sharks. And for me, that will never happen because feeding a shark puts it into a different mode, what I call the survivor mode. In order to be successful, first of all, in order to understand fully, I need to change your mindset. Let me try. Let's imagine that you're a shark. Okay, so immediately you have two more sensory systems than humans do. You have an electrical sensory system that you can pick up an animal in stress. That's what you're honed to do.
Right.
And then you have what is known as a lateral line system. And the lateral line system, basically, if I was to put my hand towards you like I just did, you can't feel it. I mean, I know we're on Zoom, but if you were right next to me, you wouldn't be able to feel that. A shark can feel that from quite a ways away. And they look at that as aggressive and they're scared. So what I did was I immersed myself 24/7, 25 days a month in 1998, and basically was on every single trip almost, except for a few interruptions, like I did an IMAX film for 5 weeks where I was on the boat next to my boat. And I got divorced. That took 3 trips to finally get it pushed through. But regardless, I've been out there the whole time. And it's when I moved off of land and I became part of the ecosystem, that's when changes happened. Like in the early days, I couldn't get close to a lemon shark. They were afraid. And basically the way I put it is that there's in my briefing, I have an hour-long briefing on how to dive with sharks, large predatory sharks safely. In other words, let me state that properly. The goal of every trip is to get as many of the largest predatory sharks of a variety of species as close as we possibly can for as long as possible safely. That's the goal. Now, the problem is sharks don't swim backwards. So they're not really good with the waves. Yeah. And while I guarantee that no shark is ever going to attack anyone, I've never seen an aggressive shark of any species towards man in 4+ decades of swimming with them, more than anybody I know. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that spends.
I want people to make a note of that, watching and listening as well. What Jim said, out of the 4 decades he's been swimming with sharks, with these majestic beasts. He has not witnessed a single shark attack or, provocation.
I've never. It's much better than that. It's not a single shark attack. I've never seen an aggressive shark towards man at all.
No aggressive behavior from sharks towards man.
Every year for 1 week on one channel, man, are they aggressive. But fortunately, I've been in some of those films. There's a film out on Discovery Channel called Tiger Beach, and the film crew, it was supposed to be 90% science, amazing science with Dr. Neil Hammerschlag, and 10% on the underwater acoustic buoy. Well, the underwater film crew didn't show up. And so I said to the producer, hey, I'll take care of this. He said, you can't take care of it. I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, you're in the film. How can you film it? And I said, I'm going to film it. I'm going to star in it. And I'm also going to be the shark protection for everybody that's down there. And I can do this. And my crew and the scientists know I can. So, I do this every day. It's not a big deal. And I went down there and I didn't know that there were 7 very hungry tiger sharks. And of course, we're using fish to attract them. And I had my captain, amazing guy, George Hughes, hold the camera. And I said, just all you need to do, he's not an underwater cameraman or not a professional, hold the camera and make sure that this dot stays on that acoustic buoy. And Neil's on one side of the acoustic buoy and I'm on the other side when I'm there. And we're talking underwater. And I have a full face underwater communication mask. So that's how we're talking. The best in the world.
Yeah, it sounds really clear in your videos.
Yeah, Oceanic Technology Systems makes the full face Guardian mask. They have some other masks too, but I like the full face Guardian mask.
Sounds pricey. What does that say?
Yeah, it is. But
it's worth it.
I'm a man of very simple tastes. I only want the best.
Nothing but the best. Look at that thing.
This is the underwater full face Guardian mask. It doesn't have the communication system, which would go right here.
Okay, so how does that work? So you're masked up, and then the communication system goes in there. And do you speak?
Hold on, I'm gonna see if I have.
I was watching your video last night. I'm wondering how you talk, because you can hear yourself breathing without much trouble.
So this one is a little bit better. This one is a yellow one, and here's the regulator.
Okay.
And it goes right in here. And basically how this works is it's a full face, which I love full face because I can see everywhere. Look, there's 5 straps holding it on my head, right?
It's not going anywhere.
I have to put it by my body so you can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Otherwise it blimps out. So this beautiful, I have 3 other full face masks. And why do I like full face masks? Well, first of all, I don't want to worry about the mask coming off. Okay, so I like 5 straps. I'm underwater, on good days, sometimes 8 or 9 hours. So
that much?
Oh, well, yeah.
Wow.
My perfect day is
awesome.
My perfect day is I like to do 2 dives back to back for 2 hours each.
Yeah.
And so I have 2 sets of gear on the boat. And I come up, get out of one set, get into the other set, just take my mask with me, get into the next set and go right back in minutes. So that they can fill the other tank. And then I come up, eat lunch, take a nap, come up, and then do the afternoon. And for another 4 hours, we switch off with the crew and on my best days. And then right after dinner, we do a night dive. The night dive can last a long time. We've even done double night dives on some of them, depending on the group. But this full face underwater communication system adds so much. I can narrate the footage while it's happening, which is amazing. Now, this mask company, Ocean Technology Systems, they reached out to me one day after they had saw one of the films where there's a classic scene in it. It's the very first film ever made where you see affection between a shark and a man. And if you watch it without me explaining it, it looks like my favorite tiger shark, a relationship of roughly 20 years, a 15-foot tiger shark. Actually, that's her behind me. That's her in the picture. Wait, hold on a second. Let me get out of the way. That's her right there. Yeah. So that's
Emma.
Emma. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've known her for about 20 years. She's underneath the boat mostly. In the first 17 years, she was underneath the boat 10 months of the year. So basically, I'm spending more time with this shark than most people do with their dog.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's how I found you, Jim. I Googled, I was on YouTube. I was like clicking around and I just typed in friendly tiger shark, like just that. And I saw these videos of you with Emma and different tiger sharks.
A bunch of them. Right.
Oh my gosh. Everybody needs to check that out if you haven't. It's amazing. But Emma's beautiful.
This one scene from the film, this is the film that I made I'm one of 3 co-stars. Emma is the star. It's called This Is Your Ocean Sharks. And the co-stars are Dr. Guy Harvey, Wyland, the ocean artist, and myself. And Emma's the star. And I told the producer, a brilliant guy, George Schellinger, that if he would do this film, earlier he was on my boat making another docuseries about sharks, the Captain John Shark series with his brother. And he came up from one of the dives. He said, Jim, tell me what's going on between you and that shark. And in those days, I didn't want anyone to know, because what are you going to tell someone? You could lock me up if I said I had a relationship with a shark in early 2000, right?
Yeah.
And so I denied. Also, in those early days, Emma would leave when I got out of the water. And that's not good for charters. So when Emma would show up, I would delay getting in because I can only be underwater for about 4 hours at a time. And before I'm getting cold, and as well as my nitrogen levels going up. So basically, I called him on the phone, George Schellinger. I said, listen, you know what that relationship thing you were talking about? I said, yeah. I said, well, it is true. You're absolutely right. I lied to you. I said, but I'm going to make it up to you. If you produce and edit this film that is going to convince the Bahamas to protect their entire country from sharks, I will give you the world's first affectionate shark scene. And the scene is called the Emma kiss scene, is what it's called. And Emma kisses me twice on the head while I do nothing. In other words, I am on the ground and well, I wish I had a way I could show it to you, but I'm on. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I can, but I don't know if this will work. Should I try it?
Try it. Yeah, please. This is the first affection scene between man and shark. This is Jim.
Okay, here we go. So basically, what you see here, what you're about to see, is Emma basically kissing me twice while I do nothing. And it appears as though it's a shark kissing me twice. Exactly what I told you. That's not really what's going on, though. It's actually a shark seeking affection. But basically what happened was this wonderful family from Ocean Technology Systems, Renee, called me and said, Jim, we just watched This Is Your Ocean Sharks. The whole staff, there's, I don't know, 50, 70 employees there. And we all watched it at lunch. And I said, oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I said, that's wonderful. What do you think? And she said, well, you've got to do the Emma kiss scene with our mask. And I said,
they want to sponsor you.
She said, can you, they do sponsor me.
Yeah, right.
I said, can you, they sponsor my nonprofits.
Which is WildlifeVOICE Inc.
Yeah, WildlifeVOICE Inc. on Instagram is the name. But
in order to get this message across, I wanted to give the film something that no one else has ever seen before. And I believe I have that opportunity because of my relationship with Emma. I mean, she basically follows me around everywhere I go down there.
Well, basically, what I'm saying here is that I wanted to give the film something that the world has never seen, the affectionate side of a shark. And I am able to do this because of my relationship with Emma. And here she comes in for the first kiss, right on the mask, right?
Wow.
And she moves away. Tiger sharks cannot stop swimming, so she has to move away. By the way, there's bait. You see the bait in the background up high?
Yeah.
There's fish everywhere to attract all these sharks here. She comes back on her own again. Well, look at her eyes on this one. Look at her eyes. See, she's such a gentle creature.
They roll back in the head. She's like a little puppy dog.
And what I say in there is that, you know, to me, this is just like your dog swimming up to give you a kiss. This is a peaceful protest on the shark culling of Australia. It's the brainchild of another brilliant conservationist, one of my best friends, Sean Heinrichs. And he asked me if we could somehow figure out how to have a girl with no mask, no protection, no nothing, dancing with tiger sharks. There's 7 tiger sharks in the scene here. But of course, the star shows up for all the good films except for Tales by Light is Emma. And in just a second, you'll see Emma come in. There she is. In all
wow, she's so pretty.
She's gorgeous.
She's beautiful.
Now, she has been pregnant 8 times.
How old is Emma, Jim?
Well, first of all, I don't believe a lot of what I read about sharks in books. They say that tiger sharks only live for roughly 50 years. But I've known her 20. She's only grown a foot. So
I believe you. You're my only source.
Another thing which was just proven is that after sharks give birth, she's been pregnant and given birth 8 times in that 20 years. And I have not seen her since January. So if you're watching this, please, everybody, pray that she's going to show back and be healthy and happy.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully pregnant again. So this is an Australian actor, brilliant and incredibly talented, Hannah Fraser, who is Sean's underwater model for a film. I think it's called Why the Mermaid Cries, which is basically a mermaid interacting with a number of species underwater, and then talking about what's going on with them, with the hopes that we can ignite activism to protect all these beautiful creatures.
Get that army going. Start that movement.
I told you that is because it was the most viral video the world still to this day has ever seen. 140 countries in 10 days without spending any money. And it's
that's amazing.
Because the scenes are unbelievable, as well as the music. You know, it's very difficult to get things to go viral. But while that was happening, which this is really interesting to me, there's one of my another friends, I'm sure you all know, on ABC News, Matt Gutman. He's on every night. You know,
sure.
Usually with one of the
That's
leads.
your buddy.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's constantly coming on board. And I said, hey, Matt, you want to come for this? This is a viral video. It's going to go viral. We're going to put a girl underwater dancing with sharks with no mask, no protection, no nothing.
Yeah.
And so I put him and his cameraman on board. And if you look at the making of Tiger Sharks, which we filmed before we did it, they asked me, Jim, are you concerned that this shark is going to and bite her or kill her or anything like that? And I said, in a very arrogant manner, I'm not the least bit concerned that anything's going to happen at all. And the reason I was so arrogant, incorrectly, by the way, this doesn't end well, right? So basically what happened was the previous 7 so basically, let me back up a little bit before we finish this story. I moved off of land in 1998. And when I moved off of land, I realized very quickly that nature is cruel. If you have an injury, a shark's going to take you out. Their job is to remove the dead, the dying, the diseased, and the dumb. Now, you could be brilliant, but if you make a dumb mistake, suddenly you're injured, shark's going to take you out. So that's how it works.
Yeah,
so
right.
One day,
cycle.
A one-eyed 9-foot lemon shark showed up, and I thought, oh, this poor shark is not going to make it. Yeah. And because of that, this is in the early days when I fed more. I didn't realize the dynamics of what feeding does not in a negative way of what feeding does to their behavior, nor did I know at that time that sharks are affectionate creatures. They're sentient creatures. They have feelings. In fact, all animals have feelings, all fish, all everything. So what I did was I looked at this poor shark and I fed it, and it quickly became the superstar of, oh, you know what? Maybe you can see this. It quickly became the superstar. This is a Jim Abernethy folder. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
I can see it. A little bit closer.
I'm looking at my picture and I can't. Can you see it or not? Hold it closer.
It's gone.
Yeah.
There you go. Anyway. I saw it.
But anyway, she quickly became, I named the shark after the funny ocean film Captain Ron, where the main actor is missing his left eye.
You're talking about the lemon shark.
Captain Ron became my favorite. And because she can't see, she has no eye on her left side, she'd always come in on her right side. But I could pick her out and follow her, just the same as having a bunch of dogs. You can always tell which one's which.
Yeah, you can.
That's me at Tiger Beach. They're all my dogs.
That's amazing, though.
And basically, in 2002, Captain Ron came in with a hook through her jaw, and she was swimming. They swim side to side like this, and the hook was cutting through her jaw. When I first saw it, I could put my finger through it. I could have. Wow. It was a big hole. So I got this crazy idea, or at least at the time, and probably a lot of people would still think it's crazy. I thought, I wonder if I can make friends with this animal.
That's awesome.
To gain trust and then remove the hook.
Yeah, not crazy. So that's what you should do.
Well, that's what I put. Well, I didn't want to put another hook in to catch the thing. So I put myself down current, a place that's too dangerous, down current from the bait. Way too many sharks. And because of the lateral line system, I put my hand out in the current. And when the shark came, I rubbed her head. At first he was afraid, and he came back repeatedly, coming back tighter and tighter circles. This shark loved the affection. And at some point, which you can see in Tales by Light, at some point, and I started using this hand signal, which is basically rubbing your thumb to your fingertips, which to me, I had a large bird, a macaw, and my bird sitters were afraid of the beak. So I trained my bird that if you do this, that means, do you want your head rubbed? And of course, he just puts his head down and gets his head rubbed.
That's awesome.
I instinctively used it with Captain Ron. And Captain Ron, about an hour and 20 minutes into training this shark on a hand signal, do you want your head rubbed? The shark started coming in much slower, like a plane about to stall. And at that point, while I'm rubbing his head, I pulled Captain Ron's head all the way up to mine while I'm rubbing its head. And I'm looking at it, and I can see the hook. And mentally, I figured out how I got to push the hook in, push it away from the barb. It's going to hurt for a second, and then pull the hook out. And when I thought I could, 2 hours later, I got the hook out.
Oh my gosh. First time too.
At that point,
that's amazing.
I looked around at all the sharks. It was game changer.
Thanks for caring, man.
And over 50% of the sharks, and there were hundreds back then of sharks, and over 50% had hooks. And I thought, I'm going on a mission. So at that point, that's all I did was remove hooks.
Who are the thank God for you for doing that.
But the reason I had to tell you that story, because I'm trying to finish the other one, is then Sean comes up and says, let's do this film Tiger Sharks. And how can you put a girl underwater, figure out how to put a girl underwater with no mask, no protection, no nothing.
Yeah. How do you do that?
And I said, I think I know how. So what I did was I asked all my crew, give the hand signal, rub the head of all tiger sharks. Okay, give the hand signal. And they started doing it with all the sharks. And right now, and so that's why I was so arrogant in the making of Tiger Sharks. So I didn't think anything could go wrong. Now let me tell you what went wrong. So I invited Matt Gutman, okay, and basically the captain, who's also the chef, is on board with the deckhand. There are only two people on the boat. Everybody else is in the water working this film. And Matt Gutman has, I think, one underwater cameraman, and they all go underwater. And my worst nightmare happened, something I couldn't believe. And that is, let me explain. There's 3 types of sharks in the world, in my opinion. There's wild sharks. They're scared to death of people. And if they're attracted to a boat like mine, if they're really hungry, they'll come in right away, but they're scared to death and they swim fast and erratically. A shark like that over a period of time can become a much better shark, which is a player. It's what I call a player. Player is a shark that swims amongst us with very little concern. And by the way, no shark looks at humans as a food source at all, ever. Okay, it just doesn't happen. You know, there may be some humans that might eat this camera, but it's very rare, right? I would say probably less than 70 people a year. Same as shark bites, shark mistakes, what I call them, shark on humans, right? So basically what happened was, and then my favorite kind of shark, the 3 types of sharks: wild shark, a player, and then a supermodel. A supermodel is a shark like Captain Ron, where I've removed a hook. If I've done something miraculous, like help the shark out, I remove the hook and then I show the shark the hook and I continue rubbing its head. And in a very short amount of time, you can turn a wild shark into a supermodel. A supermodel to me is a shark that will never leave. And is relaxed, calm, cool, collected, not any concern whatsoever for their well-being, because they have trust.
They have full trust in you, like the lemon shark.
And they trust me and my crew. And so basically, about 8 months before the making of Tiger Sharks, I asked all my crew, give the hand signal, rub the head. Give the hand signal, rub the head. And so we had not had a wild shark for months. You know, basically at this point, this is, you know, about 7 years ago, so around 2013. So this is 10 to 12 years after I started removing hooks. Basically, I've removed hundreds of hooks from 8 species. And so at this point, all the sharks were calm, cool, and collected. And it was spectacular. So basically what I did was I gained too much confidence. We go underwater very first day, and a wild shark showed up. Oh my God. And
what kind of shark was it?
It's a tiger shark. I'm only talking about tigers, okay? Because it's a scene for tigers. There are lemons and reef sharks and nurse sharks and hammerheads and bull sharks, but we're focusing on tigers right now. So basically what happened was this wild shark came in. It's swimming erratically. It's swimming fast. To me, it's scary, okay? And it's biting everything that looks like fish. The dead fish is white. So all of our very bright lights, it's biting all of our lights and strobes and things like this. And I look over in my worst nightmare, you know, I've got ABC News Worldwide underwater with me filming all this. And I see
that's cool.
He signals to his cameraman and they're going up. They're going up. And I'm thinking, oh God, here we go. Sensationalistic shark show is coming on. So I get up there, right? I follow him and I go up. He's already got his mask off. He's already telling, and all I heard was, there is an incredibly aggressive shark down there right now. And I said, Matt, really? Are you going to tell your viewers that there's an aggressive shark towards lights and strobes? Because everybody else is still down there except for you and your cameraman. And they're not the least bit concerned. If you notice, the shark wasn't aggressive towards any human. And he said, well, what are you going to do about it? I said, I'll show you. And I with my tank on, I went to the back door and I yelled into Jason Harvey, the chef. I said, Jason, I need you to get in the water and smother that tiger shark with love. And Jason got in. And if you go back to my page, if you can go back to my page and you look at the tiger shark named Hannah, which is named after Hannah Fraser.
Oh, I have that.
This is Hannah tiger shark after 5 days of smothering it with love.
I'd like to share with you another special encounter that we had during the making of Tigress Sharks. With Hannah Fraser at the center stage and Sean Heinrichs directing and a fabulous film crew, We watched the tiger shark swim around Hannah, and suddenly this shark came in, new to human encounters and everything going on. Everyone on board wanted to name this new shark after our superstar, Hannah Fraser. May I present to you Hannah Tiger. And as you can see, Jason Harvey kneeling in the sand, giving Hannah Tiger affection. The shark is watching his hand signal, and every time he gives it, the shark comes back for love and affection. This shark is responding to just love and affection, not fish. We did not feed at all. This is just love and affection, which proves beyond a shadow of a doubt, once again, sharks are sentient animals and need to be treated with respect and admiration, the same as dogs and cats. It's time we put a stop to shark finning worldwide. If you'd like to find out more about how we stumbled upon giving sharks love and affection to remove hooks from them, or help us save these magnificent creatures that are so essential to our future existence on the planet, be the voice for those that cannot speak. Visit our website. Contact us. Thank you.
This happened during the making, right after this Tiger Sharks. But I held on to it because I wanted this Tiger Sharks to go viral. And this could go viral on its own. I think it did.
It did, easily.
But basically what you see here is without using any food whatsoever, there's a tiger shark hanging out with Jason Harvey just for love and affection. And it's an incredible scene. I remember that, honestly, I love Jason, and I hope he's not listening or takes this the wrong way, but I have to tell you that he spent a whole lot less time cooking. And it was all about him loving on sharks from that day.
I'd be like Jason.
Yeah, of course we all would, because
right.
So that's basically why I had to share with you this scene. But basically,
it's beautiful.
Another way to look at what I'm doing. Let me ask you a question. In all your knowledge, do you know of a single person anywhere in the world that is teaching anybody that's teaching anybody how to make friends with any predator, land or sea? Do you know?
Yeah, Jim Abernethy.
Yeah, but I mean, other than me.
No, I don't think there is one. I think you're the only one.
Nobody has told me. No one has said yes to that yet. But what is so
there isn't any.
That the animal that we're most afraid of is the animal I'm using to teach people how to make friends with a predator. And I have such success with this on a daily basis. One of my friends.
That should tell people something, I hope.
Yeah, Reggie from Nikawi Project. She didn't believe in touching animals. And I said, not even to help it? And she said, no, I'm not. She was here for her film, Game Over Fishing. And she interviewed me, and she didn't want any of the affectionate side of sharks in the interview. So the next day we're at Tiger Beach, and basically a crew member went in front of me. Then this is pretty much what happens when I'm at Tiger Beach. A crew member went in front of me. So all the divers, 10 divers are in the water. And then I get in and he leaves. So a crew member is always in the water. And when I get down to the bottom, immediately my shark friends realize I'm there. And the lemon sharks, they're small, 9 feet. And they come over and they stop swimming because they can. They stand on their pectoral fins and basically like a dog begging to get
that's awesome.
And so because I have the underwater communication system, and I regularly give my guests a listening device so they can hear me. And I said, Reggie, cool. Turn around. And she turns around, and there's like a few lemon sharks there. I said, are you going to give this shark some love? That's why it's here. And she started to rub this shark just the same as you would your dog.
Yeah.
And she was just so happy and overwhelmed with joy. Oh. She started to cry. And
how could you not? That's beautiful.
This shark, which I named Nikawi, which means goddess of love. It was a wild shark. I hadn't known it long at that point. And because I was so close to the up and down line, where people go up and down to get back on the boat, and because I was the second diver in, divers started getting out to switch tanks and come back in. And every time, we were very close to the line, and every time a diver went up, Nikawi would swim away. And then as soon as they went past the line, Nikawi would come back. She did that on day one, 16 times in a row.
Oh my gosh.
So do sharks like affection? Yes, they love affection. And now this happens, since Tigris, I don't know, 7 years ago, roughly. I could be off by a year or two. I don't, every day is Saturday in my life.
Yeah, so there you go.
Pre-pandemic it was. But so since then, I've been teaching my guests on every trip how to make friends with a shark. And I am a hardcore conservationist. And prior to teaching my guests, I thought my method was to take unbelievable pictures and video and share it with my guests so they can go home and talk about how they did a shark dive, and what it's really like. But and I would beg them to, within 3 months, do a shark presentation, which I'd give them the presentation, give them the images that I took of them to make it their story. But it didn't hold a candle next to what happened once I started letting them make friends with their own shark. Now a lot of my friends will say, "Hey, let me see pictures of your family," and you see mom and dad, and you see the sister, right, and maybe their kids or something.
Sure,
and
yeah, typical. This
is Captain Ron.
Who's Captain Ron?
Right, and that's me with Captain Ron.
Yeah, that's the best.
And those of you that are following me on Instagram,
follow Jim.
I post that regularly. It's Jim_Abernethy. And I post, pretty regularly a different scene of my guests and I with our friends.
I love that you do that, by the way, too. It's such a cool thing to see every day in your feed. It's the only reason I really use Instagram.
Oh, well, thanks.
But the rest is trash. But look for Jim Abernethy.
We have such we're at such a critical time right now. Basically, most people don't know this, but we're more than halfway through the sixth extinction, the world's next extinction. This is the first time that it's caused by man. And presently, wild animals are at 70% gone. We have 30% left. And what's surprising to me is we still have some scientists claiming, like there's shark scientists even here in Florida that are still claiming, oh, we can manage them. Let's manage them.
Yeah, why is that?
Well, I think they need a job. But let's be perfectly honest. Let's say that I was your money manager, okay? And you gave me $100 million. Do you think that you'd still have me employed when I had 30 million left?
I wouldn't have you employed at 70.
Okay, right. You would have fired me. So to me, we're not in a conservation mode. We failed at that. What we are in now is a last-ditch effort for the preservation of sharks. And it's going to be up to all of us. Like, it kills me that
everybody.
Marco Rubio just killed the U.S. shark fin ban. I just posted that a few days ago.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of human garbage to do that, by the way.
And I mean, look, the way that I look at it is that the ivory trade we banned because we killed the entire elephant just for the horn, just for the tusk. The rhino trade we banned because we killed the whole rhino just for the horn. So why
they're almost gone.
That we haven't banned the shark fin industry where they kill the entire animal just for the fins?
It's tens of millions of them a day.
And especially when you consider that over 70% of the air we breathe, over 50% of the protein we eat comes from the heart of our planet, the oceans.
Yeah. Who regulates the oceans, Jim?
Well, realistically, internationally, there's only really.
I'm talking about the animal. I'm talking about which animal regulates the ocean. Who's the lifeblood of the ocean?
The sharks' role in the ecosystem is to keep our ecosystems healthy and in balance. They are regulators. Right?
Everybody needs to hear that message.
And they are basically the vulture of the sea. One of the few animals that can eat a decomposing animal and clean it so that the animals, the rest of the animals that can't eat this won't get sick and die.
Yeah, they're the cleanup crew. We need them.
It's so sad. So a perfect analogy is what happened in India. In India, the cow is sacred. And in India, they wanted to make the cow stronger. So they gave it antibiotics to prevent it from dying, which is a mistake. Every time we try to screw with nature, we fail miserably. And this is
stop screwing with nature.
So basically, when the cow died, the vultures came in to eat the cow, and the vultures all died. There are no vultures in India anymore. So what happened was a massive rabies attack on dogs. Dogs would eat the decomposing cow and they would get rabies. And now they spend millions of dollars on rabid dogs because they don't have the essential, the vulture, which is the shark of the ocean. But it's the vulture is the equivalent on land. We need animals to clean our ecosystem. And very, very few animals can actually eat dead or decomposing animals without dying. And the shark is one.
And without them, the whole thing falls apart. It's the lifeblood of the ocean. It's the whole circle of life. You keep it going. People don't understand that, though. People like you understand it. A lot of smart people understand it, but there needs to be more awareness about these animals and the importance. The importance is the most thing I'll stress, and everything else comes second. How important they are to live.
Absolutely.
You know better than anybody, and I want everybody to hear your message and what you have to say.
I've been very fortunate. I don't exactly know. I mean, I have lots of ideas on how I was able to basically follow my dreams my entire life.
Oh yeah.
It's
amazing.
My entire life. I had to go to college, get my business management degree. But I never filled out a resume. And
see, that's an amazing story. There's going to be lots of movies about you, probably a few with you as the role of yourself.
We're working on what I believe will be the world's best shark film. This is the first time I've been able to talk about it. It's the story of my life. And the pandemic is the reason that it's finally coming to fruition. I've got a brilliant producer helping me put this together. The two of us are putting this together. And the nice thing is, I don't know if you can see it, but I got like 300 terabytes of I've got piles of, these are all 5 terabyte hard drives. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
And if you looked over here, they're stacked this tall. And those are all 5 and 6 terabyte drives
of footage.
They're all over the place. And so I have, that's one copy. The other copy's at my parents' house.
These are footage of you swimming.
It's footage, no, not of me. It's footage
of the shark
I have shot since I went digital. I actually have boxes of tapes and stuff that I shot in other formats, just in case I want to digitize it at some point. But it's if you look, I look at a couple things that I'd like to cover with you, and that is. I believe that if you do great things will happen to you. And I'm perfectly proof of that. I mean, look, I don't believe anybody loves sharks more than me. How is it that of the top 5 places in the world to see sharks in the wild, I discovered 3 of them?
Right, because you are who you are.
Of different species. And I mean, I think that's Mother Nature paying back. I believe that's exactly what it is.
I believe that.
I also believe something that a lot of people probably disagree with me, and that is I believe that all animals can look at your soul and figure out what type of person you are very quickly.
Yes.
And if you are a kind person that only does kind things, no violence, non-confrontational, if you're there for the animal rather than for yourself, I believe that the animals know that, and they're going to relax and show you things.
Animals have a sixth sense with this stuff, Jim. They
Yeah,
sense when there's
absolutely.
evil. They sense when you're kind. I'm on a lot lesser scale than yourself. Since I was a kid, I've always loved animals, always been good. There are photos of me as a child, as a kid, with like a wild deer, petting it, that came up, that are scared to death. You see deer in the wild. I'm from the East Coast originally. They just run. Videos of animals, birds at Rocky Mountain National Park that just kind of come over and just land on you. The animals can kind of sense that stuff, and they also know, as you know more than anyone, from you've documented this, they know when there's a threat, and that when there's something bad going on. And unfortunately, there's a lot of that going around today.
That's so sad. I just realized I should have probably had a light in front, because my eyes are in the shadow. You can't even really see my eyes, right?
They look good. No, they look good. Okay. No, they're good on the screen.
A light would be better though. But
yeah, who's in charge of the lights there?
He's out to lunch. That guy,
he's swimming with this. He's swimming was what he's doing.
So excited about going shark diving back to Tiger Beach in a couple of days with
one
of my best friends. I'm going with a huge celebrity in the adventure world. In fact, he's probably the top. I remember it once. I looked at the top, the top at high adventure stunts that people had done.
Yeah.
And out of the top 10, he had 3 of them. His name is Jeb Corliss, an amazing guy. He's a wingsuit pilot. He's the only guy that's ever flown through a cave with a wingsuit.
Oh.
Okay. He also, another one of his is called Grinding the Crack, which is basically a mountain split apart just a little. And that crack is like 250 feet tall. And at the top, it's about, 50 feet wide. He flew through it.
Oh, no way.
In a wingsuit. But then again,
not doing it.
He also is the only person, I believe, that's ever impacted Earth at full velocity, 140 miles an hour, in his wingsuit and lived. And,
he's that guy.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Oh, he's crazy. That's awesome. He's your buddy?
No, actually, he's not crazy. He calculates everything. He's very calm.
Oh, no, I'm not saying he's insane.
And he loves shark diving. So he and I get along great. He's the brother I wish I had.
So you guys are going on this trip on Thursday.
I don't know how many trips he's been on. He's sponsored by GoPro. And his footage is amazing. And he.
So you guys are like a perfect duo there, hanging out.
Well, no. What I do is not high risk. It's no risk at all. In fact, I'd venture to say that I'm probably the safest person on the planet. I mean, all I ever do is hang out with really large predatory sharks, and they don't.
Right. No, I mean for living your life of just going out there and doing what you love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, we're very much alike for being able to follow our dreams.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
That he would fly, and he does. In fact, after they told him he would never walk again, not only does he walk and run, he also flies.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what you want to hear.
So he's coming here with his beautiful high adventure girlfriend, Allie, and I'm just super stoked.
You're stoked.
Yeah, which is one of the best things about all these trips. To me, the sharks are. Tiger Beach is the best place in the world. Let me tell you why.
Please.
It's really, really clear water. Okay, you want clear water when you're with sharks, especially if you're a photographer. It's shallow, and why would you want shallow? Well, you want to spend extended bottom times. If it's too deep, you only dive once or twice a day. That at Tiger Beach, one person asked me once. He said, "What's the how many dives do you do?" I said, well, we're the only boat at Tiger Beach that doesn't count dives. Basically, the pool is open, and at some point when everyone's done, we go to sleep.
That's the way to do it, right?
So the world record on my boat is, I think, 9 hours and 40 minutes, but it was only 3 dives. By Shen Colazo. Yeah. If I'd known that he wasn't gonna be using his bunk, I would have sold that too. I mean, he wasn't there for the camaraderie, let me tell you. You know what I mean?
No.
He was there for the sharks. And
you're not there for the camaraderie.
Regular on the boat as well. I think maybe he has some gills or something. But
right, he's assimilating.
And so, as getting back to Tiger Beach, though, it's really clear. It's really shallow for extended bottom times. And look at the diversity of large large predatory sharks. You have the great hammerhead that grows to the same length as the great white shark, which is actually, the great white shark doesn't have the word great in its name. Only the great hammerhead truly has the word great. And why is it? Well, it grows to 7 meters. And
yeah, that's crazy.
In the hammerhead species, which I believe there's around 8, but they keep discovering a new species of hammerhead, even still to this day. But if you imagine this, all the other species get along. Hammerheads eat all other sharks, including other hammerheads, which a little comedy for you. Let's say that you're a male great hammerhead. So just to put you in the right frame of mind,
sure.
Female sharks are generally 25-30% larger than the males. So what you're looking for as far as an attractive female is you're looking for large. The larger, the better. And
the larger, the better.
The larger, the better. So you're swimming around and you see this big, you're a hammerhead, and you see this beautiful, big hammerhead. The bigger, the better. And my question is, how do you know if she's hungry or if she's horny?
Yeah. Right? How do you tell?
I don't know, but I'm glad I'm not a shark, because I don't think I'd do very well at this.
Those are two very opposite ends of the spectrum.
So the great hammerhead is there, the bull shark is there, the lemon shark is there, the tiger shark is there. And many, many years ago, oceanic white tips were there, which is another species that I found the very best place in the world, which is Cat Island, and have been running trips there ever since. In fact, probably my best trip is what I call the best of the Bahamas trips, where we do Tiger Beach for a couple of days. Then we do the swimming pigs of the Bahamas before we do the oceanic white tips with the duskies and silkies at Cat Island. And then we come back and do the great hammerheads at Bimini.
This is all one trip?
As well as the wild dolphins. Yeah, this is one trip,
wow.
10 days.
How many days does it take you to do this whole quest that you're talking about?
10 days.
Well, that's a good time.
I only do no more than 3 of those a year. But it's
sure.
an incredible, in clear water. And the terrible thing about it is that sometimes on these beautiful, flat, calm summer days or spring days, we are interrupted with any number of whales, including beaked whales, one of the hardest whales to see, wow. Which, of course, size matters in the diving world. If you have oceanic white tips and some whales show up, you're going to play with the whales for a little while.
You'd have to. How could you not?
It's legal in the Bahamas, so it's so nice. So I've swam with 11 species of whales in the Bahamas so far. Wow! Even though it's not known as a whaling destination.
I didn't think it was.
It's not.
But because of where you are,
they're called sounds, and the Exuma Sound. It goes down to like 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
The tongue of the ocean goes down to like 10,000 feet in the middle of land. Which is the Bahamas is such a beautiful place.
It's beautiful.
I'm so glad to be able to promote the Bahamas, because the Bahamian government had the foresight long before the word marine protected zone was even coined. They protected the first underwater park, the land and sea park.
I didn't know that. It was the Bahamas.
Yeah. So, it's perfect for me. I couldn't be with a better country. And now in 2011, July 7th, 2011, they protected the entire country's shark population. Wow.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean? So
love it.
I think that somebody's watching out for me, and they put me in exactly the place I need to be in order to save sharks. And I think so. Is my life's mission. And I think that the sharks are rewarding me left and right at every opportunity. On that same trip. This is going to be hard to believe, but I'll post this picture soon on my Instagram page.
Okay.
To prove it to you. But on that same trip with Reggie Nikawi, we named the shark Nikawi, another shark by the name of Darcy, a lemon shark. We had 8 people massaging one shark at the same time. Can you imagine?
No way.
I'll post a picture of it because it's too hard to believe. But
8 people all at the same time?
Yeah, can you imagine Darcy going back to her friends, her shark friends, not her human friends?
Yeah.
Darcy's one of the superstars at Tiger Beach, and
She's
she
a
goes
supermodel.
back there and she says to her friend, she says, the other day the strangest thing happened. One of those humans started giving me a head massage, and you know how.
Oh yeah.
And then it
Word's
started
gonna
to feel
spread
a little better, and I turned around and there were 3 of them, and then it just I don't know how many hands they have, but it felt better, and I turned around and there were 5, and then it got even better, and I turned around and there were 8 of them, and she stayed there.
That's awesome.
Now the current and the wind changed and the boat moved, and we had to leave the shark. We were there for over 30 minutes. The shark followed us to so that we can be underneath the boat at all times.
Yeah. So cool.
And we started it back up again, but a lot of the divers are running low on air. But the stories that
what a time
that I have been able to the stories that I have that my guests have witnessed are unbelievable. And sometimes I'll come back from a trip, right, where to try to I'm going to try to get you into my mindset. It's going to be difficult.
Okay.
Imagine, I don't know if you've done this. Well, you did. You made friends with a deer. You know how you felt that day? You made friends with a wild animal. And very, very few people on the planet ever experience what it's like to connect with a wild animal.
Well, I told you I did that with a nurse shark in Key West that one time I was diving there.
Mm-hmm. And it's very rare. And what happens inside of you is hard to describe. It's definitely a life-changing moment.
Yeah.
So sometimes this has happened. And I finally told the bank to stop asking me. I'd come back and my staff says, you need to go do a wire transfer for one of my trips in another country. And I go to the bank and I'm just going about my day and I give them all the information and they do the wire transfer. And they know I do wildlife encounters. And the teller looks up at me and she says, did you just get back? And I said, yeah. And she says, how was your trip? And immediately, as you can see my face right now, immediately I flash back through these life-changing experiences and I just fall apart in happy tears, because how can I describe what it's like to have an animal that is thought of as a vicious, mindless, man-eating monster and projected as something so far away from what it is? And yet I'm having these experiences on a daily basis on every dive. It's you can see it in Tales by Light, Misunderstood Predators. I love what Eric said, and it's so true.
It's indescribable, Jim.
Yeah, what we're experiencing, he said something to the effect of what we're experiencing. Sorry, big.
Oh, please, no, it's indescribable.
But what he said
was an
was
amazing
what
man.
we're experiencing right now underneath Jim's boat is the next chapter in shark experiences. What we're doing now is we're changing fear into love, and that's so powerful. And I know
you're gonna get me all misty-eyed over here.
What's that?
You're gonna get me a little misty-eyed over here.
Sorry about that.
No,
but
please.
It's so powerful.
You're inspiring.
That I wish there was some way that I could get people to experience it. Although, I do have, as I pull this out, about in 2013, I ventured into, can you see this?
What is that?
Virtual reality goggles. And on this is an Oculus Go.
Oh, yeah.
And basically in here, there's, I think 9 countries and 81 different animals.
Oh, that's awesome. Where do I get one of those?
And well, when you get one, let me know and I'll send you some files.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because basically virtual reality is the best way that I can take people places. Now, several, I have a soft heart and I always root for the underdog. And some of my best friends are quadriplegics. And so I have 2 of those, and I just bought a 3rd one just so that I can take them places. And in virtual reality, a lot of people, including myself, cannot separate the fact that they are not there. It's hard to believe.
Oh, yeah. I can't do that either. I get lost.
Dolphin, with these wild dolphin encounters. And
Yeah.
I put, the best example, one of my best friends is in a restaurant, and I put the goggles on, and they're on the bow of my boat. I said, look around. They look around. It's flat, calm. It's beautiful. I said, do you hear anything? He said, yeah, I hear squeaking. I said, look down. I said, there's dolphins underneath the bow. And then it goes to the back of the boat, and you can't see the camera. So it looks like there's somebody else filming me, but you never see the camera or anything.
Right.
So I get into the water to have this wild dolphin encounter. And at the restaurant, as I submerge in the water, my friend stands up and goes to take a breath, because his brain thought he was going underwater. Right.
Yeah.
And it's
it happens with those things. It's awesome.
Yeah, it does. It's hard to realize that you're not really there. So I take
that's awesome. You do that with your friends.
One of the cancer kids hospital in South Africa uses my dolphin VR.
Oh, wow.
That GoPro made for me. GoPro's been very good to me.
Good.
They used to edit they give me the cameras to use, send their team out on the boat. And then in those days, 16 cameras, 8 cameras. They finally got down to just one camera with two cameras that's put together. It's come a long ways, but virtual reality is amazing. And I'm so glad that I got into it very early, because I'm in a 3-dimensional world.
I never would have pegged you to be into virtual reality, because you're always living and doing something extraordinary. It's but to share that with people and your experience is pretty cool.
There's something else that I do that's really I would say of all the things that I do, it's probably the wildest, and that is I'm a ultralight pilot, and I fly a boat.
What do you mean you fly a boat? What does that mean?
In other words,
like a seaplane?
In 1997, I bought a 2-person rigid hull inflatable, so 12-foot boat with a 36-foot hang glider wing. It's probably on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, and it's called the Overseer.
Oh, these things.
Yeah. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is I believe it'll be the opening scene in my story of my life with sharks, the movie that I'm working on right now with the brilliant producer Greg Wilson, and I believe it'll be the opening scene, because I just happen to have one of my
That's cool.
friends, Paul Nicklin from Sea Legacy. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I've heard of him. I don't know him.
Okay, well, he's one of my best friends as well. And he happened to be in town visiting me. And so I called one of my friends and said, hey, quick, can you take my friend Paul Nicklin up in the helicopter so he can film me while I'm in the flying boat? And I'm above 10,000 sharks. And flipping the wing from wingtip to wingtip just above the water while he's filming me. And I have 10 GoPros on the wing.
What a shot. That's an expensive setup.
It's exactly what you need.
That's amazing.
If you're going to do something like this, it's worthwhile.
You got to do it right. You've seen the footage of this?
Yeah, I have it.
How's it look? Pretty amazing, I bet.
Do you see it on my channel? Is it there?
I didn't see that video yet. I didn't want to search around on the air.
Well, I'll post something soon on my Instagram page.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's cool.
It's really I bought it just for a photography platform so that I could do more shows, because the cost, basically a helicopter for an hour is $750, I think, with a 3-hour minimum or something. And I can give them the flying boat like I did for National Geographic. I gave them the flying boat for 16 days, just $750 a day. And flew all over the Bahamas with it, with Brian Scarry back years ago when we did I think he did like an 18 or 22 page article on sharks. But Paul Nicklin actually got me into National Geographic, and they've been my stock agent ever since I became friends with him, I'm so grateful, because
that's amazing.
It helps. It really does help.
That's amazing. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. Paul Nicklin's a class act, and his beautiful, extremely hardcore conservationist girlfriend, Christina Mittenmeyer, is also, and that whole Sea Legacy team, that's trying to protect our oceans is tremendous, and they've got a huge platform and they're doing amazing things. There's so many people that are doing amazing conservation efforts. I'm so happy that I'm dialed in with the majority of them and adding new ones all the time. In fact, just today I was talking with the vegan race car driver that stars in Racing Extinction. I don't know how to pronounce her name yet, but I'm just talking with her through Instagram. I know I'm going to meet her soon because she's on the board of Oceanic Preservation Society. Louis Sequoias, Racing Extinction, that also did the Cove.
Of course.
And these are game. Oh, and he did Game Changer.
It is, and it's really cool to see that you're plugged into all these little groups because you're already on that grid of of people involved in that whole circle. So you're already plugged in on the map with stuff. So your whole circle of, people you associate with are cool from, all over these groups, so many organizations.
The nice thing about that, for me, it's necessary. Fortunately, I love people. So, and when I find hardcore conservationists that are also trying to save the world, like Adam Segalski and Nicole from One Protest, you can't help but to. Now Adam and Nicole helped me do something during the pandemic that I never thought I'd have the opportunity to do, and that is
what's that?
To experience. I was the photographer for animal. I was the photography for Animal Legal Defense Fund. And Farm Sanctuary. I photographed an illegal slaughterhouse being shut down with over 100 animals. And
I think I've seen that video, Jim.
Yeah,
I follow those groups and stuff. I've donated to them.
Yeah, Gabriel the Pig. Yeah, they're a wonderful foundation. But I got this job because of Adam. He called me and said, "Jim, can I?"
Really? You filmed that?
Yeah, I filmed.
That's so cool.
Gabriel the Pig. But basically, I went there. I am vegan. Okay, and I hope everyone is considering eating less animals because of that. Because
you have to.
But I went there. I said yes because, well, one, I wasn't able to make any money during the pandemic through my business. We were shut down. Worldwide travel shut down. So basically, he called me and he said, "Jim, do you want this job?" And even though it wasn't my regular pay, I wanted the job because I wanted to see what I was helping. Right? Because I was part of the problem for them. So I went there with Nicole, not knowing what to expect. And as a photographer in my cinematography mode, I thought, by the way, I just won an Emmy 2 weeks ago, which is so great. I haven't even announced it on my Instagram because I want to have it in my hand. But thanks.
Congratulations too.
Waters, A Turtle's Tale, a film I worked with a brilliant producer, Rory Fielding. We just celebrated the other night. But regardless, this
congratulations
thank you. At this. Well, I'm telling you so many things that no one else knows. I don't know why I'm doing that.
It's the Podcastle. It's Clark the Shark here. First look. What better guess?
So basically what happened was I hung up the phone with Adam Segalski of One Protest, and I started thinking about this. Oof, this could give me nightmares because I have nightmares. I watch nothing scary. Nothing.
Yeah, right. Me too.
I will dream at night and wake up in a sweat. So I was a little concerned about that. And I said, just focus, get the happy story. There's got to be a happy story here. We're rescuing over 100 animals from like 6 different beautiful sanctuaries. And when I went in there, I'm thinking, I need the story. And if you're going to take pictures, are you going to, I'm well equipped. So I can take pictures.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Video. And at first I thought I'm going to shoot video because video tells a better story than pictures do most of the time. But I quickly realized that all the animals in this illegal slaughterhouse in Fort Myers, all the animals were so afraid because they could see the slaughterhouse. They'd seen their brothers and sisters and parents slaughtered. And so I couldn't get an animal close enough to film it. It would run away.
They're
so I switched back to the lens, the long lens. And partially through the day, Nicole yells, "Hey, there's a pig here. We need a doctor, a vet. It's dying. It may even be dead." And I thought, oh, this is my story. I grabbed the video camera and I go back, and it's as if, this story is so good. So I go back there. There's people, angels from above. These sanctuary owners, they are truly angels from above.
Yeah,
and I go back there and I see this
amazing
pig that's lying in its excrement and piss and covered in
poor
flies.
thing.
And I thought, it's already dead. And they picked it up with almost they picked it up to put a harness underneath it. It's a pretty big pig. And it tried to get away because it probably thought its day was at zero and it was about to be killed. And they carried it off and they put it inside this trailer. And I went on to film other animals. And I'm looking at this field, and I said to Nicole, I said, what kind of animals am I looking at? I don't recognize them. And she said they're goats and sheep. And I said, where are their ears? Those are dog treats. This is so horrific. So anyway, getting back to, it's hard to imagine this kind of brutality. But anyway, I go back and I see the door to this big trailer is open, right? And I go back. This was life-changing. I'm trying to do my best to describe what's in this video.
I'm there with you. I'm visualizing it.
So I peek my head in this long trailer, and the back of the trailer was stacked high with birds, turkeys,
shit,
roosters, and they were in the same vicinity as this pig that would later be named Gabriel. But let me tell you what happens. So
please.
I stick my head in the door, and I've got a gimbaled camera, and I'm filming. And I see a woman and these two women, and they're loving on this extremely dirty pig. They're giving it love and affection. It's covered in bags of ice. And I asked the obvious question, what's all the ice for? And he said, well, pigs can't cool themselves down. And when they're stressed out, and this pig thought it was going to die, its temperature went up to 108. It's literally burning up. And I just feel so bad for what this pig has gone through. And I learned that the vet who's there, one of the women, the vet is, she's going to stay in the trailer because she's worried that the pig is going to die. And at this point, all of a sudden, the pig stands up. It's like 4 feet from me, and the two women are right next to it. The pig stands up. All the ice falls off, and the pig backs up a little bit and looks around at the two women and looks around, and it sees all the animals in the back of the trailer. And it walks back to the back of the trailer like an inspector checking to see the product. It looked at each cage. These were the animals that it knew.
Wow.
I think they
man.
And when the pig turned around, wow, look, I'm getting emotional.
He gets it. This animal gets it.
When the pig turned around, you could see it was smiling. That was the moment that it knew that these people are saving us. And the pig walked over to one of my best friends now from Yes I Can Sanctuary, Carly and Carla. And Carla, the pig walked over to Carla, and now it's 2 feet from me, and laid down on her lap.
Oh my gosh.
And I can see that the pig is smiling, and she's so close that I had to pan up and down so that you could see Carla in full happy tears and the pig crying and happy as well. It was such a happy moment.
That is so incredible.
And right at that time, I said, we need to name this pig. And somebody from outside said, name it Gabriel, after the angel.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Gabriel. And
that's
I talked to them long enough that they could tell that I'm trying to do good things here. So that night, the vet called me at like midnight, and said,
Yeah.
"Hey, Jim, I just want to let you know that Gabriel is in our hospital, animal hospital, and I'm going to keep you updated." And she called me, at least once a day to tell me how Gabriel was. And
Good.
And Carla called me, and I spoke to the people at Animal Legal Defensive Fund, and they said, "Go get the rest of the story." So I went and got 2 more visits to Yes I Can Sanctuary. Let me tell you the difference. Carla gave me a little bit of a warning as I was coming into my first sanctuary. Okay, sanctuary, farm animal sanctuary is what it is. And she said, by the way, all the animals here, they're expecting you to love them. I had no idea what she meant. I was swarmed by all these really happy animals. And it was so nice.
Wow, that's so touching.
She walked me around the property for a few hours, or with her husband, showing me all these animals, telling me the story behind them. And at one point, and I'm there, because I'm eccentric, I carry a lot of cameras, and I use a bicycle trailer to put all my cameras in, so I don't have to keep going back to the car to switch cameras. And at one point, I look out into this field, and she says, do you want to go meet the cows? And I said, wow, it's been one of my dreams to actually make friends with a cow.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting emotional again.
Oh, no, please.
I walk out there and I leave my trailer with, there's basically 40 grand in the trailer and this little bicycle.
Yeah,
trailer.
you got a lot of good stuff.
I walk out there and she introduces me to Gus and Theo, these 2 cows. They're about 1 year old. And when we got inside the fence, she called them, Gus, Theo, and they walk over to us. And I sat, and I'm just following what Carla said to do. I sat down on the ground, and the cow laid down on the ground and put its head in my lap while I'm rubbing it. Life-changing moment.
Oh my gosh. At this point, how could it not be?
All of a sudden, Carla starts yelling and screaming, oh my God. She's running back to my trailer, and these 2 goats, a goat and a pig, Milo, and I don't remember the name of the goat, but these jumped into my cart. They thought that was their new toy. And, I don't really care. Cameras are all insured. I just stayed there with the cow while she was freaking out. But, it's
a great attitude to have. And I wish everybody could hear that story you just did. And people can watch the videos, obviously, but to hear you explain it, just to everybody to understand it there, that every animal does have a soul, and that they do have, emotion, and they sense fear, and they feel anger, and they feel shame, and they feel sadness at some of these horrible places, where they're turned into other things that they shouldn't be. And I wish everybody could hear the story you just told me, Jim.
I became vegan for my health. But the learning process, especially, wow, if you want to change your life in a positive way, find the closest sanctuary. These people that own these sanctuaries, like Carla and her husband at Yes I Can, and I visited other ones. There were, I think, 5 or 6 different sanctuaries. They're all the same. These are angels from above that are taking care of every animal as if it was a family member, and it's a life-changing, a very addictive thing to help animals. And if you truly love animals, eat plants. You can't look at your breakfast that's smiling at you, and
no.
Now,
you're a hypocrite if you are. If you say you love animals and you eat meat, you're a hypotcrite.
Yeah, I happen to be a publisher and an author. I have 3 books, all of which have won awards, and one of them, with my co-author Jen Nolan. And some books she writes entirely on her own, and the pictures are all mine. But she came up with this beautiful idea on one book. I was just looking around to see if I had. Oh, I have it.
We're gonna show a clip too of the book. Here's a clip.
Well, it just so happens that one of my, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see it? Wait a minute. How do I make you
go back a little bit towards you? Right there.
So this is the secret. This is the secret of Pig Island, and this is the brainchild of my.
What an adorable little pig!
My business partner Jen Nolan, who's on the board of Oceanic Preservation Society, and this is Play-Doh. And if you were to
Play-Doh,
this is a planet conservation book, Plato, who speaks English and in rhyme. His basically the story in here is that Plato, as a baby, grows up and he's growing up and he realizes his island's very messy. So he teaches all the pigs to take care of their only island, their only home. And over a period of time, he learns about another animal that's very piggy, that would be humans, and they're very greedy. So he starts the secret of Pig Island, which is that there's treasure on the island, he lures a human to the island, and and to teach him that we only have one island. We only have one home, and we better take better care of it, which is, a wonderful.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, it's a wonderful. There you go. Wow, you see it there. Oh, and that's Plato swimming in the water over to the right. Oh, that picture you just, I think you just blew up the one, that one on the right. That picture. This is me with Plato after a
Look
photo.
at this shot. This is so much fun.
Isn't that amazing?
They love you. That's amazing. Where's Pig Island, Jim? When are we going?
Pig Island is in the Exumas. By the way, it's on the 10-day trip, the best of the Bahamas. We stop at Pig Island twice.
Jim, real quick, where can we book this 10-day trip? Where can I get on this as soon as possible?
www.scuba-adventures.com, or direct message me on Instagram with your email address and I'll send you more information.
Scuba-adventures.com.
Wow, what is this? Wow, this actually sells images.
Yeah, I hope you're getting a chunk of change.
Well, this Getty is National Geographic, which is now Disney. Yes, and they pay me, so that's good.
They should. These are all pictures from this experience.
This is Plato swimming around there in the upper right. See little baby Plato.
Oh, look at how cute.
Isn't she adorable?
Oh, my God. She's adorable.
She's adorable. And fortunately, I happened to be there with Eric Chang. And we found baby pigs, and baby anything. I'm going to take thousands of pictures, and thank God. And
any baby animal is cute.
Yeah, and how this thing came about was that I am what is known as what is it called? I only sleep 4 or 5 hours at night, and so I wake up really early and I'm up really late, and I try to talk to my friends in Europe. I try to talk to my friends in Europe early in the morning while my friends in the United States are still waking up, and then late at night I talk to friends in Australia and other places like that.
You're living the dream, my friend.
So and Jen Nolan, clearly one of my best friends, a hardcore conservationist, and she I'm not allowed to call her before like 9:30. Okay, and right after the BP oil spill happened, one morning at like 5 o'clock or real early in the morning, my phone rings, right? And I look, it's Jen Nolan. I think somebody's died, right? Why would she call me at 5 o'clock morning? I said, Jen, are you okay? Are you all right? And she said, Jim, I'm glad you're awake. I wrote a book last night. I'm hoping you have more pictures of she basically what had happened was she couldn't sleep because she was so upset about the oil spill. So she went down to her kitchen so she wouldn't wake up her wonderful husband or any of her kids. And she has 4 amazing boys. And she goes downstairs and she's there just really upset. And she looks up on the wall. And when she was on there as a guest of Blue Voice, another nonprofit. Blue Voice, lots of nonprofits use my company to help their fundraising, right? So
yeah, they do.
Was there, and while she was on the boat, that's where I met Jen Nolan. And while she's on the boat, she said, Jim, do you have any other images? Because my boat's decorated with images. And I said, yeah. And she looked through them and she bought that image. And it was in her kitchen. And she looked up and she came up with that idea of The Secret of Pig Island and wrote the whole book.
Oh, it inspired her to do that.
Yeah, just like that, because of the BP.
See, that's an amazing thing. You take something negative that's upsetting you, and you turn that energy into something positive, and there you go. What do you do?
That's what we need to do. That's exactly what we need to do. Now, right now, we are really upset about a number of things. The pandemic is.
I'm most upset about animals being killed for bullshit reasons, and people being terrible at doing that is what I'm upset about.
Unnecessary slaughters.
The unnecessary slaughters in Japan, hundreds of millions of sharks killed a year. There's the sanctuaries, by the way,
and whales.
and whales and dolphins and all kinds of marine life. They're in peril right now. And to speak to Jim's effect for everybody listening, I don't need to tell you that the sanctuaries he's visiting are few of thousands of them. There's so many of them. They can't handle all the needs.
Less than 4% of our oceans are protected. In the United States,
4%.
14% of our land is protected. We need to protect.
What does that tell you?
30%. But you just said Japan, and it's hard for me to talk about other countries when United States is ranked the 7th worst shark killing nation for shark fin industry. We are one of the worst countries there is. And my state, Florida, is the worst state. So in Florida, we just banned the shark fin trade, but we're still allowed to kill sharks for the shark fin industry.
Yeah. How does that work, Jim? That's kind of like saying you can't drive a car on the road that has so much pollution, but you can still run it in the driveway and let it pollute the air. How does that work?
It's way better than what it was prior, but basically the shark fin industry is not allowed to use Florida as a hub. Now, presently, a bunch of the U.S. states, I don't know exactly how many now, I guess it's around 15 or so, have already banned the shark fin trade.
Yeah.
And what that did was it moved Miami as the hub for getting fins out of South America and Central America over to where they're going, Asia. So you're not allowed to move the fins through the country, but we're still allowing our commercial shark fishing industry to slaughter sharks in Florida.
Yeah, you're just taking a little detour.
It's wrong. It's just wrong. And
how do we stop that? Who do we?
Well, we vote, right? We would have already fixed it if it wasn't for Marco Rubio.
Yeah, because your governor signed this legislation a few months back, right?
Yeah, he signed it, but he put in a loophole so that the fishermen wouldn't be out of work. They bring in, I think it's like 160,000, and the shark diving industry in Florida brings in 330 million. So from an economical point of view alone, why should we kill the product for a sustainable industry? It just doesn't make sense. If we don't switch to ecotourism, and soon, for every animal has a price on its head. I just read yesterday that 6 rangers were killed in Virunga National Park. Oh my God.
I read that too.
And they lost 12 just a little while ago. These are young guys protecting gorillas.
They're risking their lives because they care about it. By the way, too, people need to understand there's no, especially with horns and tusks, there's no medicinal value of these. These are all old adage, century-old cultural beliefs. And what Jim said to your point about ecotourism is that has to be the way of the future, and it has to happen yesterday. Money equals votes, as you know, and that's why a lot of politicians are saying, we're going to do this, this, and this, but we're going to, my constituents they're fishermen, so we're not going to do it. And that's just not good enough anymore.
Well, the best example that I've helped with in my life was when I discovered the largest aggregation of whale sharks in the world about 15, 16 years ago.
Tell me about that.
Which is in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, over 500 on some days. And on some years, we are blessed with thousands of manta rays at the same time. Oh. It's by sheer pounds, it's the largest aggregation of animals in weight anywhere in the world, far bigger than Africa.
Where's this, Jim?
This is in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, a little tiny island. That's where I base my operation from. A little tiny island off the coast of Cancun. And I go there for the peak of the season because I know when it is. I have it booked 3 years out because it's incredible. And for me, it's such an opportunity because you don't even have to know how to swim. You float on the surface and the world's largest fish swims by.
Yeah, how are you not on board for that, people? It's amazing.
And so
sign me up.
Some of my very well-off clients, like Richard Branson, he actually moved his airline there for a few years and brought his best friends down there. Yeah. And
that's amazing.
A lot of the nonprofits, some of the nonprofits use our company as a fundraiser. and have been doing it for years. One of my favorites is Wild Aid, which is basically
they're great.
nonprofit I know that's killing the demand for animals. And
movers and shakers.
One of their marine life guides for like 15 years now, or so. I don't know how long. It's been a long time though, and I love it. It's so. They
all love you too. All of these groups, I've spoken to some people. They've been on the show before. Everybody loves Jim Abernethy. Everybody. They all know you. You're such like a. I mean, I love you. I think you're great. But what's so amazing about you and your life and the work you do is all of these people that love animals, more specifically in these groups, love ocean life and sustainable the ecosystems. They all look at you as like you're the guy. You know, that's an amazing thing to probably feel in your life.
You know, I feel very, very blessed. You know, what I always tell people is that if it wasn't for really great luck, I don't think I'd have any at all. Because it seems like every time I turn around, like right now in this, I have a 4-bedroom large house in North Palm Beach. And last year, a person from Vegan Outreach, okay, I didn't know she worked for Vegan Outreach, but she contacted me because I posted that this weekend I'm going to be teaching people how to make supermodels with a fish that grows up to 800 pounds, the Goliath grouper. Her name's Lana Smithson. So I met her. And she's on the boat, and I gave the briefing, and I said, "Are you ready? Because in 5 minutes, there's going to be a 500-pound Goliath grouper in your lap." And she said, "No." Well, there was, because I know how to find the animals that will interact, and I teach this everywhere I go. And you know, it's once you get into the mindset of the animal and you know how they work, you can work with them in a lot more effective way. In other words, you have to get out of your own mindset that this is your encounter and to have this with you. It's all about the animal and having the encounter. Like a while back, I was in the Bahamas. We do wild dolphin encounters as well. Completely non-fed, you know, wonderful. And several times I've had a mom, dolphin by the name of Keikos push her newborn baby, still deformed, into my arms.
Oh, wow.
Talk about life-changing.
Exactly.
These are all sentient creatures. It kills me. We kill over 100,000 dolphins a year. We rip them away from their families and put them in concrete tanks.
And for what?
We have to, for entertainment. Their life of misery is so that we can look at them one day in our life.
Well, that makes sense. And even in 1,000 years from now, will that ever make any freaking sense that we did that for entertainment?
No.
The answer is no. Yeah.
No, well, it depends on what you're here for. If you're here to make money, yeah. SeaWorld,
there's better ways to make money. If you're making money at the expense of ripping baby dolphins away, you're doing it wrong.
Exploiting animals.
You're doing it wrong.
And the dolphins, as Louis Sequoyas from the film The Cove exposes, is that all these dolphins die. All their family members die. That's how they catch them, so that you can watch the strongest one. And the strongest one is usually on some kind of sedative because they're so
strong,
stressed from being in a jail.
Well, they're one of the smartest animals in the world. Like they're so smart. It's basically like being ripped away from your parents as a kid and kept in a cage for your whole life.
What's amazing is the orca that killed a couple of the trainers.
Yeah,
and we're thinking how barbaric that this animal. We ripped it away from his family and stuck it in a concrete tank for life, while we feed it all kinds of drugs so that it can somehow cope with the barbaric conditions that we put it in. It's not right.
Yeah, what would you do? If you locked me up for a week, I'd start taking out people close to me. The abuse.
Look, we're in the pandemic. We couldn't even handle that, right?
We can't even handle that.
No,
3 months in, we're losing our damn minds.
Now, to show you how bad it is, the longest living captive animal from the wild happens to be in my state, down in Miami. I think it's like 55 years.
It's so bad, Jim.
And you know what the life of this orca is? She lays on the bottom of the tank and comes up to perform 3 times a day.
for a few
That's
pieces
her
of fish.
whole life. I bet if she could commit suicide, she would.
In a second. And I don't need to tell Jim, but other people need to know the range of an orca that they need to survive and flourish would be like putting you in a bathtub for the rest of your life. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's where you can move around. You need space and outdoors and to travel, and you need company and you need family. They're communal animals. It'd be like being in a bathtub.
You know, one of the I just touched on this, and that is that the Goliath grouper.
Yeah.
You know, fish have feelings too.
Hell yeah.
And fish are the most exploited animal on the planet. I mean, if you compare agricultural animals, we kill 70 billion animals a year, but we kill 140 billion pounds of fish a year.
Yeah, they're not vegetables.
And a lot of it is bycatch. We don't even use it. And which is sad. You know what the largest consumer of fish is on the planet? What animal? You would think it's humans, right?
I would say humans.
No, it's cows.
Really? They're hauling in for the cows? Cows don't eat fish.
Cows are herbivores. They don't eat fish. They don't eat fish. Oh, look at that. There's some beautiful
I just want to give the viewers that might be watching this later on Roku or YouTube, this is a Goliath grouper. They're actually massive beasts. And they're amazing animals.
They're a critically endangered animal.
They're critically endangered.
Yeah, and right now they have, like all large animals, they are filled with mercury, a poison that you can pass on to your children. One of the few poisons that goes through the membrane. That it's so sad. So you can't eat them. It's against the law to sell any animal that has over 1 part per million in mercury. And these are at 3.5 parts per million. Yet we still, the next campaign, which may be this year, is my 4th campaign to protect the Goliath grouper. I mean, why do we want to kill it? Well,
I'm on board with that campaign.
We love trophy pictures. Look, there's some of them there with some, such a beautiful, gentle giant. And
they're beautiful.
When I worked on the iMax film with the brilliant producer Howard and Michelle Hall, the star of the show there, I was basically the animal person, setting up shots for the crew. And there was a 100-pound black grouper that actually has 3 scenes in this IMAX film. And at one point, just to show you the sentient side of, I called this black grouper Buddy because he was always very close to me. But the IMAX crew renamed him Max because we spent 8 days to get these 3 scenes. Okay. Because the camera only films for 3 minutes. Then you have to change the film, which takes 45
because
minutes.
The camera cost $117,000 and they film 88,000 frames per second.
No, you're way off on the price. It's about, I think it's like $15,000 per second when you're rolling. Okay, it's the camera is unbelievably expensive.
It's crazy.
In a large format, but anyway, it's a 2,025-pound housing. It's the team for the IMAX
one of those guys.
Howard's IMAX crew.
Oh, that old thing.
There were 24 people in the water, all with underwater communication. Amazing. But let me tell you what happened. So we're probably sick and tired of Max because we've been with him for 8 days. We want to go to the next animal, right? And we're all done. And Howard announces that we're going to go to the next scene. We're ready to go to the next scene. And this temporary mooring that I'd put in for the boat that we were using, American fishing boat comes in and casts a line. One of the crew comes over to me and says, they're fishing for Max. And I look over right as the line goes tight, and Max is the biggest fish down there, and they've caught Max and they're reeling it in.
What?
And somehow the line broke, so which means that the smart fisherman is going to put a wire leader on it because the fish is too big and put it back down. I throw on my tank along with like 5 or 6 other people, including Howard Hall's wife, and I jump in the water and I swim towards Max while I'm still putting on my thing. And right as I get within 200 feet, which means I can see Max, I see another big piece of fish come down with the hook on it, and Max comes out from the rock and eats the fish. and goes and immediately feels the stress and goes underneath the rock. And I get over there without a knife, and I take the rope while they're trying to reel it in, and I chafe it on the coral reef and cut it.
No way. You're like Aquaman.
We're not to the no way yet. Let me tell you what happens. And then I went over to the mooring with one of the other people's one of the film crew's knife, and I cut my mooring. So now the boat is adrift. So they can't. And I turned back around. There's like 5 of us there. And Michelle Hall, Howard's wife, is there. And the Max comes out. He's got a hook through his lip. He's got a hook through his, what I would call his tongue. And Max looks around at all the people and looks over at me and comes over and opens his mouth wide. And I reach in and get the one out of his tongue first. And Max is bleeding. Okay. And Max goes back into the hole. Within a couple minutes, Max comes back over to me, and I get the other hook out of the lip.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
He trusts you.
I get back. Oh yeah. I've been with Max for
What
years.
an experience though.
So
just got
we get back up on the boat and explain. And Howard says, well, now we've got great karma. The film's going to be a tremendous success.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah. So
the karma on your side already before this happened was already pretty good.
Max is still there today on our dives.
Real. I was going to ask, have you seen Max since that time?
Oh, absolutely. It's incredible. Some of these things, like Emma's had 4 hooks removed. 4.
That's a sin that there's that many hooks in these animals.
It's so sad. But let me tell you the good news.
Please.
The 3 trips ago, there were 2 sharks with hooks, and I got one of those out. And now there's only 1 shark with a hook, and I hope to get that out with Jeb on this trip that I leave.
Oh, that's amazing! You got to film it. You got to document that final hook.
It takes one hand to give the love and affection.
Yeah,
and it takes the other hand to get the hook out. I'll come down. I'll fly down. I've got another wonderful conservation Shira from Respect the Fin, which I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
So don't take this the wrong way, but I'm dreading the next time she's on the boat because she's been on 3 trips with me, and every time I've removed a hook. So before Jim, I just signed up for another trip. You got one. I'm expecting you to get another one, and so far I've been 3 for 3. But you got to be 4 for 4. You can't let her down. It's not easy. So
no, it's not. But that's amazing. You do that.
There's another thing which I'm sure your viewers would love this little thing. These sharks act in many ways just like dogs. And if you have a dog, how you come home with something new, the dog thinks it's his. Right,
of course.
That's how the sharks are with us. So far, I don't count GoPros, but these big SLR cameras like this one doesn't have lights on it. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah. Those are cool.
These big SLR cameras, I only count those, and so far 74 of them have been taken away.
Oh my gosh.
By tiger sharks, and some of them have even taken pictures after they take it away, and they basically run away and they drop it, and other tiger sharks take it. All the tiger sharks leave with it when it happens.
What do they do with it?
Just very, very comical if you're insured. Okay,
what do they do with the camera? They just swim around with it?
It's a new chew toy, right? And
it's hilarious.
The interesting thing is that during one of these times, I had George Schellinger from This Is Your Ocean Sharks. He was there to film me removing a hook. Okay,
Yeah.
So basically, when the shark comes in and it starts to act like it's stalling like a plane, and that's when I pull it up to my face repeatedly until I can figure out mentally how to get the hook out. And while this is happening, okay, I've got the camera big camera in my other hand, and I look over and I tell him it's going to happen now. I put my camera down to get this hook out of a lemon shark, and Emma comes in and steals my camera. The whole film crew goes over to film Emma stealing my camera.
Yeah.
Again. And it's hilarious.
That's hilarious. How could you not?
I get the hook out, and nobody filmed it.
See, that's exactly what you said. It's like a dog. You come home with something new, they're playing with it, they want to play, they want to chew on it.
Yeah, it's now they just bite it and drop it and carry it away and drop it and bite it. And it's the most recent camera, which is, by the way, the only one I didn't get back. So 74 cameras taken, only 19 of them are mine. So the rest are my guests. So have insurance before you come with.
Get some insurance.
And don't put your camera down, because they're going to take it, right? And they're very playful. But the two of the cameras were not returned, and one of them was mine. And actually a professional photographer on the boat, his wife gave him a housing for his phone. Unfortunately, he was using this stupid phone housing rather than a professional camera. And he filmed the Tiger Shark come up, and it was a brand new 4K camera with four 15,000 lumen lights.
It's that's pricey.
It's a lot of money. And basically she came right up to me, and it was brand new camera. It was, second day in the water, and second day with the housing, second day with the lights, and I'm filming, and I'm thinking, wow, this looks great. I'm looking at the screen. It looks great. It looks great. And then all I see is the throat, and I look up, and the teeth are coming over, and the teeth came down in a place that they were stopped by the lights on the bottom and the top, 4 lights. So I continue to hold on to it.
Yeah, of course.
And the shark swims away with me. I'll post it on my Instagram soon.
Oh, I got to see it. That's amazing.
Hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I never found that camera.
It's gone. It's
gone.
taken some good pictures, though, I heard.
I hadn't put insurance on it yet, so I lost that one. But you know what? We can always make more money and replace it. The thing
That's a great attitude.
It's hilarious.
It is funny.
Right? It's one of the most expensive laughters I've had.
Yeah,
right?
Well, yeah.
Now, the interesting thing was I was dating Lori Boyle, who I dated for like 6.5 years or something. Definitely not long enough. She broke up with me because I'm always gone, which is probably not going to change. But
never change.
Yeah, but anyway, she was there, and I took off. I took off after the shark, and I was gone for like, I don't know, a while looking for my camera. The shark came back in 7 minutes. I don't know where the camera is, where it went in 7 minutes. But I came back very low on air, and I look around. There's nobody in the water, and except Lori, and she's got underwater communication, of course. And so I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And she said, "Yeah, just a bunch of tiger sharks." Right?
Yeah,
which is the right tiger sharks. You can't run across the safari in Africa because the predators. But you can go swimming with large predatory sharks every single day.
Yeah, and you should. Why wouldn't you want to do that? What a fun life to have.
Nature is so amazing.
Amazing.
At every single level. And right now, with all these, I'm constantly searching things and for conservation to see what I can help. Recently, I did something that everybody should do. About 3 years ago, I discovered the cause of red tide is the poisoning of our drinking water by our Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. I put a petition up. You can see it at my link in my bio to stop our government from poisoning our drinking water. There's about 178,000 signatures on it last time I checked. But what I discovered is that we knowingly killed off our pollinators and our amphibians. So I was so mad, and I came back and I thought, wow, my backyard is a useless, beautiful yard that most people would love to have. And I thought, I don't need that. I need pollinators. So I hired some landscapers, and there's hundreds of flowering plants for my hummingbirds and 26 bird feeders. And it's just a sanctuary here. Yeah, it's fabulous. You could take pictures here all day long. And
what a peaceful way to live.
There's like a dozen squirrels that go through 50 pounds of peanuts every 2.5 weeks. And I buy 7 different types of bird seed for these 26 bird feeders. And the birds here are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they know,
you got some beautiful birds there.
It's fantastic. I should actually
It's therapeutic just to watch them.
It absolutely
They're beautiful.
Is.
By the way, check out Jim's petitions. You have quite a few as well, but they're on change.org and as well as the website. And there's a link on your profile. If you go to Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, the link on my Instagram page, or go to wildlifevoice.org and go to campaigns, and you can see the campaigns. Those are most of the campaigns that I'm working on. Although there are some that I really can't talk about because it will destroy the campaign. But that's all right. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, go to wildlifevoice.org. By the way, everything Jim you're doing is great.
Go over to campaigns. Push up. Those are petitions. But if you go right here, look on campaigns. See if that does that bring up campaign outreach? No, don't. Just go click on just campaigns, just click right there. Click right there. I think that'll take you right to. There's campaigns. So
here we go.
This is the one to protect. There's the one for COVID vaccines that are using squalene, which is a shark. So all these different things. I'm so blessed to have all my friends help me by sending me things that need help, and like you probably saw on the news because it went worldwide. I saw a post about someone that had carved, or I don't know.
Oh, I can't. I was so pissed.
Yeah, well, I sent that out to 30 news agencies.
Yeah, thanks for doing that. I saw.
We need people speaking for our voiceless.
Yes, we need more voices speaking for the voiceless, and we need people like you to step up. And Jim is an example, I think, to all of us. You're an example to all of us of what we can do to help save this planet, save these animals. And you're very active. The thing I love about you the most, Jim, besides all the cool stuff, is you're relentless. I don't know if you ever sleep, and you just keep pounding away, and that's what we need. We need, these warriors in this army to speak up for the voiceless. They can't speak for themselves, and somebody has to do it. And we need as many people as possible. So just start off. Go to wildlifevoice.org. Look at everything Jim's doing. Just take a page out of his book. Get inspired, like I did, and
I'm so glad
do more.
To hear that. Thank you so much. You'll have to come out here and personally witness this.
I have to. I'm there anytime.
Favorite, never underestimate what one person can do. Never. Because indeed, if you look at history, that's the only thing that's ever changed our planet. And one of my, for me, our youth is much more powerful than I am. And right now I have lots of different kids that I hope to inspire. And two of my favorites. One is Ella Saves the Ocean on Instagram. Beautiful family, hardcore, brilliant conservationist. I first met her when she was 7. I met her online, and I gave her a scuba bubble course, a bubble maker course. And she came down here with her family from Canada, and with the instructor, I swam around at the Blue Heron Bridge. And if you want inspiration, go to Ella Saves the Ocean or the Conservation Kid, Cash Daniels. These kids should be the mentors for the rest of our youth, because literally I'll be dead and gone. Unfortunately, what we're passing on to them is only 30% of what I've seen. I think that's part of the reason why I'm such a hardcore conservationist. I've seen
It's true.
The ocean from the surface to the bottom with scalloped hammerheads that I haven't seen in 3 decades.
That's heartbreaking.
It's you know, so
they're ravaged.
I know what it can be. And if we would just stop and protect 20-30% of our oceans, the ocean, nature will heal itself like it did during the pandemic in many places. So that's
important.
What we need to do.
Yeah, keep that in mind. If we stop all the stuff now, we put everything back where they should be, we leave it alone, we protect it, it can start to heal itself. It's not going to be overnight, but that can happen. That right there is an incentive. Too many people are just, it's too late, this and that, but it's not. You can do so much, and you can do it today.
The phone call before yours was a girl I have not personally met face to face, but she's the best place for black bears in North America is a place I go to in North Carolina, and she knows that. And she contacted me because one of the adjacent to the park where the bears are protected was up for sale on a hunting website. And so she reached out to me, and I've spent some time with her on the phone. Today, she sent me a text. Jim, I just wanted you to know I'm going vegan. So,
all right. That's great news.
Called her immediately. I said, I don't know how many animals you're saving by switching to a plant-based lifestyle. It's by far the best thing I've ever done for the planet and the rest of the animals. Right now, presently, over 50% of our land is used by agricultural animals.
It's too much.
In deplorable conditions so that we can taste meat. And the best part about it all is that in the last few years, plant-based meats have won like a rib contest in.
Oh, yeah, they're delicious.
Yeah, plant-based meats not only are super healthy, they also taste better than a lot of the regular meat.
And they make you feel better. You don't feel bloated and like it's not pumped with all kinds of crap.
Yeah. 3 weeks on a plant-based diet, you'll never go back.
You're just like full of life.
Yeah, it's so amazing. But anyway, how long have we been talking?
This will be our time. I know I kept you on way too long, and I knew I kept you long, but I wasn't going to stop it.
It's no big deal.
I would have done this all night. So I just want to thank you, Jim Abernethy, for coming on the show. You're always welcome here. And
we've tried to get this done for a while, and I'm glad that we finally spoke. And there's lots of topics that we haven't discussed, and maybe today we will.
Absolutely, Jim. Always happy to have you on. And please check out Jim's website, WildlifeVOICE and Inc.org. And please go to the Instagram at Jim_Abernethy. That's ABERNETHY. And check out all of the work. Thank you, sir. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much. Thanks for making it happen.
All right, Jim. I'll talk to you later.
Seeing it when it comes out. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later, sir.
Bye-bye.